you can either select an already created SNS topic, or you can create a new topic, or either if you have already created the topic in other regions as well, so you can use the ARN also. So what I'll do, I'll select the already existing SNS topic. So you guys can see here I have got the SNS topic which I have created during the auto scaling group creation. Now you can also add auto scaling action, like if you have auto scaling group, so on that what kind of action you want. So I've selected auto scaling action. In when my auto scaling is in Alarm, I'll resource type is EC2 auto scaling or ECS service. ECS is nothing but Elastic Container Services, container, Docker, and all that kind of containers. So I'll select EC2 auto scaling group, and then I'll select the group. So you can see I've got this group, and I can take the action like I can increase group size or decrease group size, because these two are the scaling policies that I've got. So like in this case, so like I've done the configuration of this case, this scenario. So due to this scenario, what auto scaling group will do, like my status, my instance is unhealthy now. So what they'll do, they'll increase the group size. So I'll select this action, take the following action, increase group size, add one instance. Okay. Then you can also select add EC2 action. So whenever your alarm state is in alarm, so you can either stop the instance, terminate the instance, or reboot the instance. So I want my because my data in my instance is critical, so I don't want to terminate the instance, and I also don't want to stop the instance. So what I can do, I can reboot the instance. So this way you can do the configuration, and then you will go next. Then they'll ask you to add the name. So I'll add Linux alarm test. I don't want to give the description, so I'll go next. Then they are showing me each and every configuration that I have done. Then I'll just quickly create an alarm. So this way you can create your alarm. Now you can see my created alarm is insufficient, because we don't have any data in this alarm, right? I have not configured any data in this alarm. I have not configured any instance with this instance with this alarm and all. So that's why, like, I also don't have any data in this instance, like, because I want already only launched it. I have not connected it and used it. So that's why they are showing me the insufficient alarm. Insufficient alarm means I don't have the data in this instance. Okay. So this is how you can create a CloudWatch. Okay. Is there enough? Manoj is asking, for CloudWatch alarm, is it important to perform ELB or auto scaling, as there is an option to fill for them? No, no. Like Manoj, they have given us the option. That means whenever you create an alarm, right? Like you create an alarm for an EC2 instance or for any of the other services. So whenever your services is not healthy, so in that case, what auto scaling group will do? Auto scaling group will scale a similar new service. Like auto scaling group will scale a clone or a copy of that service, so that your service or the application on your service do not go down. Okay, now you can see, because they have now. Okay, now you can see my insufficient is 0, because they have done the status health check again, so they have find my instance. Okay, so you guys can see now my alarm is in okay state, because at that time they have not because at that time what happened is I've just created the alarm, so they have not find any configuration on this instance and all. But as soon as they have done the status health check again, they find that my instance is healthy, up and running. So that's why they put it in OK state. Okay, so I was telling you, whenever you configure an CloudWatch alarm for particular service, that means if it will show you, like if the CloudWatch alarm will show you the alarm state, so that means your service is unhealthy. So in that case, what auto scaling group will do? Auto scaling group will automatically scale a new similar service or a clone of that service, so that your application on that service do not gets down. Okay. So like your application is up and running for all the time. That's why we configure a auto scaling group with CloudWatch. It is not necessary that you have to create a ELB or you have to create auto scaling group with CloudWatch. And you can create because it will help you in either way. Okay. Okay. So this way we can create a CloudWatch alarm. Now you can see because we have configured it, and now because like CloudWatch automatically does the health check after every particular time interval. So as soon as CloudWatch have done the health check of my instance, CloudWatch found my instance and find it healthy. So that's why they shifted my this CloudWatch alarm to OK state. Okay, so this way you can create an alarm. Now what you can do is you can simply go into it, and then what you can do, as of now, what I have said you can select the area, then you can also again select the area, and again you can select the area, and you can go on to a particular time period, and you can see what was the usage of your CPU and all at that particular time. So this way you can go on to your particular time zone and all. So that's why. Okay, so this way you can monitor each and everything in CloudWatch. Are you guys cleared with CloudWatch and all? Is there any doubt in CloudWatch? So let me know. Okay, so no one is replying. That means you understood the topic, CloudWatch. Okay, so now I have told you that auto scaling group also does the health check because we have to configure a CloudWatch with auto scaling group and all. So yeah, Manoj, alarm can cover most of the features available, but the scenario is you can select only one service for a particular alarm, like either one metric for a particular alarm. Understand? Like if you are creating alarm for CPU utilization, so you cannot create an alarm for like multiple services in like same alarm. You can do that also, but like what AWS will provide you is whenever you create an alarm, they'll ask you to select only one service. Okay, so AWS alarm covers most of the feature available, like mostly every features available. Okay, so now you guys can see on my screen, my this Linux instance is now terminated. Why? Because I have configured this instance with my auto scaling group. है ना? And as soon as auto scaling group gets the notification from CloudWatch that two instances are running, like two instances are running and below 50% GCP utilization, and they are running in your region. So auto scaling group automatically scaled down this instance because this instance was created earlier than this one. Okay, so you guys can see our auto scaling group is also working. So this was a basic demonstration how auto scaling group works with ELB and all. So are you guys understood till now? If you guys are understood, then I'll show you. Then I'll show you the project how you can deploy dynamic website on EC2 instance. Let me know. Manoj, like, are you asking a question or are you writing something? Like you have said, so when the CPU utilization it is created, right? So like, what do you want to ask? Have you missed some words in between? Yeah, definitely. When the CPU utilization gets is increased, new instances will be created automatically as per the auto scaling, the scaling policies that we have created. And because the CPU utilization was like almost 0% because we are not using the instances right now. So as per the scaling policy, they have removed my instance, my already running instance, because we have configured in this way. Like we have configured that we only want one instance running, and whenever our CPU utilization gets increased, we want one more instance to scale up. And as soon as like when our CPU utilization gets below 50%, so then again remove the instance. So that's why they have removed my this instance. Okay. Okay. So I hope you guys have understood uh, ELB auto scaling, CloudWatch, and how we can associate ELB and auto scaling with EC2 instances with CloudWatch. So I'll write here with CloudWatch. Now I'll show you, like I have not mentioned here that project dynamic web hosting on EC2 and all. I have mentioned static web hosting. So what we will do, we will host a website on our EC2 instance, Linux instance, with HTTP, so what, sorry, with the web server, Apache web server. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll launch the instance, then I'll install the web server, then I'll get the file, I'll get the website, like, and then I'll move the website to my web server. Then I'll show it to you, like how you can access it. Okay. So first of all, we'll okay. So we'll not delete it now. We'll delete. I'll delete it later. I'll remove the configuration later. So what I'll do, because I've created this instance for the web hosting and all. So what I'll do is I'll create a new instance for the hosting and all. Okay. So just a minute. Let me create an instance. I've selected the instance. Next. Next. Okay, so let's wait till our instance gets into running state. Now, because this instance, we have installed, like we have launched a Linux instance, so we need a third-party tool to like connect to this instance. So we'll use Putty. Have you guys heard about Putty? Anyone of you have heard about Putty? Putty Jain. Okay. So now because you guys have heard about it, so I hope you guys should know how you can convert your PPK file, like PEM file to PPK file and all. You guys know how you can convert your PEM file to PPK file? Okay, so I'll not demonstrate that. And like if you guys have used it, so you guys should know like how you can connect to our instance. So okay, so now our instance is in running state. We'll just refresh it so that the status health check is also now it's completed. So what we'll do, we'll need a public name, public DNS. So I'll copy the public DNS from here, or either I can copy it from here as well. The public DNS is same here, or you can copy it from here also. Okay, I'll paste it here. Then here in the data section, in the connection and the data inside the connection, you have to mention name, username. So like remember this thing, like every Linux instance that you install on AWS, the username is same for every Linux instance. That is EC2-user. Okay, then we'll go to SSH or and browse our PEM file. I'll open it and open the instance. Okay, let's wait. So I'll select yes. Yes means I'm allowing it. So now you guys can see now my Linux instance is connected. My Red Hat instance is now connected. So first of all, because like, okay, let me know how many of you have worked on Linux. Anyone had worked on Linux? Okay, Vijay, you don't. Okay, no issues. Thank yes. Lighter note. Okay. Okay, no issue. So we will not do the much like we'll not do the more difficult configurations and all. We'll just do a simple and basic configuration, and I'll write a basic commands, and I'll also give you the document of this command. Like I'll give you the commands. I'll also give the commands to you guys, so you guys can also do this thing. So first of all, we can check our current user with who am I command. Who am I means it will show you which user you are logged in. So I'm logged in with EC2 user. Now because the EC2 user is a normal user, right? And you cannot do any severe configurations like installing the servers and all with the normal user. So for that you need superpowers. Superpowers means we can say superpower means root user or administrative user. So to get connected to super user, root user, or administrative user, we'll write the command sudo su. Sudo su means switch user. Sorry, sudo su means sudo su means switch user to super user. Okay, so we have entered the command sudo su. Now you guys can see we are now into root user. Who am I? So we can see who am I? I am a root user. Now I'll see the yum repository. Yum repository, like we get the repositories in Linux. So I'll see whether my yum repository is working or not. So I'll install a basic FTP server. So yum install FTP. I'll enter. Okay, so you guys can see now my FTP server is uh, being installed. So my yum repository is working. Okay, so I'll select here. So you guys can see now my yum repository is working. Now, okay, I'll show you. Uh, so what I'll do, because I don't have any a specific content for dynamic website or any of the websites. So what I'll do is I'll clone a website from GitHub. This one, okay. So I'll clone it. So before that, what we will do? Okay. So we are now into the instance. We are now into super user. Now we need to install the server. Which server? HTTP. HTTP means web server. So we'll install yum install HTTPD. HTTPD means web server. Space hyphen y. Hyphen y means whenever they ask me for yes or no, they'll automatically go with yes. So I've selected it. Let's wait. Okay, so now my HTTP server is installed. You can check which HTTP server is installed on your instance. So you can enter the command yum space info space httpd, enter. So as soon as I have entered this command yum info httpd, they've shown me that my server name is http. My version is 2.4.37. The release model is this. Architecture is this. Size is this, and the repository is system repository, like from which repository I have installed it. I've installed it from RHEL8, and then I can see the license URL and the description. So the Apache server. So Linux, like they have installed me the Apache server. So the Apache HTTP server is powerful, efficient, and extensible web server. Okay, so this way you can install the web server. Then what I'll do is I'll quickly restart the server. Yum restart HTTPD. So like uh, okay, sorry, yum. Okay, sorry, not yum. System. Okay, I forgot the command. System CTL restart. So system CTL means all the controls that you can do with like all the system controls. Yeah, like if you want to do any configuration on system control, or you want to start a service, you want to run restart a service, stop a service. So you use command systemctl. Systemctl means system control. So systemctl restart HTTP D. As soon as I've entered it, they have restarted my HTTP service. Then what I'll do, I'll install Git, because I want to clone this website from Git, right? So I'll install Git, yum install Git. They'll ask me for yes, I'll give yes. Okay, so now our Git is installed. So what I'll do is I'll okay. So now, because now our Git is installed, our HTTP server is installed. So what we have to do is we have to clone this data. Like, so what I'll do is I'll select clone, I'll copy, and then what I'll do, I'll enter the command git space clone. Git space clone means I want to clone data from Git, and then I'll paste the link. So what the command means, I want to clone the data on this link from Git. So you guys can see they have cloned the data. I'll enter command ll. Ll means long list. Long list. So in that long list, you guys can see I've got this, the photo craze website, and the repository is also the photo craze website in the Git. Okay. Now, because like okay, so let me know. Have you guys have ever worked on web servers and all, like Microsoft Web Server or any of the web servers? Because I don't think so that you have worked on it, because most of you have not worked on web development or all. Okay, so no issue. I'll tell you. Like when you okay, so okay, no issue. So no issues. I'll tell you. Like whenever you host a website on Windows, right? Then they'll create your folder in C drive. Okay, like understand. Whenever you install any application on Windows, so what they do, they create a folder for that application in C drive and all. Okay, so in that same way, we have slash directory here, slash this. So each and every configuration that we do is under this slash directory. Okay, so here in what we can say, here in Linux, we can change the directory. Like we cannot click on, like, because this is command line, this is not graphical user interface. So we can change the directory with the command cd. Where we want to go, we want to go in slash. Now where in slash? So in Linux we have got this folder var. So like any configuration on web server, so all the configuration on web server is done inside this folder, var folder, var. Then inside var, where, so because we are deploying a web server, that means we are deploying it on www. Inside www where? So we'll go into HTML, because every web content is based on HTML. So I can see, like, I have now into, sorry, so I am now into HTML. Okay, PWD, I'll enter PWD. So you guys can see PWD means present working directory. So now I am in, where I am now, war inside war, I am into www, and inside www I can see htm. So I have to paste each and every content of my website here in this folder in htm. So what I'll do, I'll go back again. Okay, and then what I'll do, okay, uh, let me see. Okay, so now I am onto the directory where I have cloned the data. So I have cloned the data in EC2 user. EC2 user is my user. Okay. So now I am into the directory. Okay. Okay, I'll tell you. So what is this home and EC2? So whenever you create any user in in Linux, whenever you create any user in Linux, so the files that are associated with that user, like whenever you create user in Windows, so you get my computer, desktop, picture, document, download. So all these folders you get in Windows. So similar as that in Linux, we got this home, and inside home, when you create a user, they create you a username, and inside that username they'll create you the basic files that you require for the usage of user. Like in Windows, we have got download, music, videos, document, and all. So this is that folder in Linux. So now I have this file here. So what I'll do, I want to copy it. So the command to copy it, cp space the file name, because I am onto the folder where my file is. So I'll directly write the file name, and I'll write star. Star means all file inside this folder. Then I'll write give a space. Then I'll give a destination location. So where I want to transfer this, I want to copy it at uh, var inside var www inside www html. Okay. Okay. So because this the Photo Craze website is a document. So whenever you try to copy a document, they you have to give hyphen r. Hyphen r means recursively, because you cannot copy the document or content inside the document directly to any other location. So you have to do it recursively. So then I'll enter it. They are asking me to overwrite it. So overwrite it. So I'll then say yes. Again, then I'll say yes. So now you guys can see they have copied my data. So how can I check? So I'll write ll where I want to do the long list. I want to do long list in var, inside var www, and inside that html. So you guys can see now my data is in this html folder. So this way you can deploy your website. Okay, so this is the way you can deploy your website on your web server in an EC2 instance. Like you can create a web server, and because if you want to deploy any of your service through like any instance, any machine, so you have to create a web server for that. So we have created a web server, Apache server, and then we have deployed our file or images of our file in that web server, and and then we can access it. So how you guys can access it? Okay, let's try to access it. If this guy has not made this website unavailable, so then we will be able to access it. So you guys can see I can access this website, like, right? So how I can access this website? I'll just copy this public name, my public IP, and then I'll directly search for this public IP, and I've got the website. So have you guys understood how you can deploy a particular a website on a EC2 instance with the server, how you can install the server, and then how you can deploy the website on that server, and then how you can how you can access that website. So have you guys understood it? Any doubt in like deploying a website on EC2 server?
The server EC2 server, it has the IP address, it is which you have searched is EC2 server, right?
When no one is writing, that means no one have any doubt. Because if you don't write, then I'll assume that you guys don't have any doubt. If you guys have got any doubt, then write in the chat box. Otherwise, then say no or yes in the response. Lukendra, your voice is not coming. Like I'm not able to hear you. I think there is some issue with your headphones and or something, because Earlier also, when you tried to speak, we were not able to hear you.
Now are you able to hear me? Hello.
You can write, Lokindra, you can write in the chat box like whatever you. Yeah, IP. I have access with EC2 machines IP, public IP. Now, you should remember, I have told you about Elastic IP. Like we can create our or we can create our own Elastic IP. So Elastic IP is nothing but public IP. So with the help of that Elastic IP, what I can do is I can allocate that Elastic IP onto my instance. So then my public IP will be same till the time I want. Then as soon as I'll release the Elastic IP, my public IP will get changed. Okay, so what you can do is you can mm, no, Lokindra, you cannot host multiple websites on same instance because how you can configure multiple web servers on same instance. Okay, so then in that case, what will happen? Your instance will get confused, like what to show and what not to show. Okay, so you cannot uh, deploy multiple websites on a same instance. You can host same website on multiple instances, but you cannot host multiple website on same instances. Okay, like I think there is some issue. I've just told you, Tank. We cannot host multiple websites because if what okay, let's understand. Like if you deploy data of multiple websites on to this instance. Okay, let's understand. Like I have configured a web server here. Okay, yeah, definitely. Looking, the one EC2 should contain one website. Okay, so I was telling, like I have configured the web server in this instance. Then if I will deploy like another website on this web server only. So then I'll have two documents of two different websites. So then how the instance will okay, tank route something. Yeah, definitely. Thanks. We use DNS for each servers, but like I am talking for the current situation. Like right, we have this current situation right now, so I am talking about it. I'm not talking about what you were telling. Like you told that we can use DNS for that for each site. Like I totally understand that you can use DNS, you can use DNS for each site, and you can do that purpose. Like, but you cannot host multiple websites because what will happen? Like what you can do is you can create multiple different servers, and on that server you can host a website. So whatever that you are telling now, you can do in that way. Like what you can do is you can configure multiple servers, like different servers, and then but then what happens is all the things get messed up. Like if you will host multiple website on one instance, then you will not be able to understand like which server is using which website because once we have done the configuration, then when you come to see is there any flaw or something, so then it will be like much more difficult for you to understand what is going on, what is happening and all. So like the ideal and the proper way is you have to host one website on a one instance. Okay, okay, Lokindra, I'll provide you the document of dynamic web hosting process. No problem. Hank, is your doubt clear, or is there anything? Then ask me, because you're not saying anything. Yeah, I'll show you how we can assign Route 53 like DNS today. Let's wait for Tank to respond. Tank, are you there? Yeah. So is your doubt clear, or do you have any other doubt? So ask me. I'm here. Okay, okay, no issue. Like if you feel for any of the doubt in future, then you can ping me. No worries, no worries. Okay. So now, okay, so we were talking about Route 53, the DNS. So what DNS will do? DNS will map our IP address with the domain name. Okay. So because we cannot. Um, yeah, Manoj, like we were about to see the increasing load and all, but I've not found any application. Like I don't have any application right now to increase the load or to increase the load on Linux instance right now. Okay, and like I have already told you guys, like because my Windows edition is home edition, so I'm not able to connect to Windows server. So that's why we are not able to connect to Windows server. I am looking for the third party application with which I would be able to connect to Windows server. So then I'll demonstrate you that. Okay. Okay, Tank wrote something. Yeah, Tank, I understand your point. You get virtual host, but then in that case, what you need is you need a like dedicated hardware. Okay, you need a huge dedicated hardware for that, because if you have the huge dedicated hardware, then in that case only you can create virtual host and all. Okay, so I was telling here you don't have all that kind of scenarios, like you don't have virtual dedicated hardwares like big hardware, so you can create virtual host. Then in that, with the help of that virtual host, you can host multiple things. Your point is perfectly right. I'm not saying that your point is not correct and all. I'm saying that your point is perfectly right. But here in this scenario, we don't have that kind of servers, right? We don't have that kind of hardware. Where we can create multiple virtual hosts and all. Okay, so that's why I was telling you create one website on one EC2 instance. Okay, you can select like here we have got multiple options na, in EC2. So you can select what kind of hardware you want. So here in instance type, you can see we have got multiple instance types. So you can select what type of instance you want. Like we have got multiple virtual CPUs, we have got multiple memories, we have got multiple architecture types. So you can see this. Okay. Okay. So Lokendra is asking something. One, create EC2 machine host web server, copy the content to EC2. Yeah, Lokendra, I have the document. I'll share it with you guys. No worries for that. I'll share it with you guys. I have the document. Okay. Mm, so I was talking about Route 53. Okay. So let me go on to Route 53. So basically, Route 53 is nothing but DNS. So what we can do is we can map. Okay, Lokendra. Okay, so let's have Lokendra is telling, remembering me to have a 2 minute break. Okay, so let's have a 2 minutes break. Then we'll continue. No worries. If you guys want the break, so then we can take a break. Like, let me know if you guys want the break. So then we can have a break for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Then we'll continue with Route 53. Okay, so let's start. So we were on to Route 53. Okay, so till now we have what we have done is we have configured web server and we have installed we have deployed the website. Now we what we want to do is we want to map our website with the we want to map the instance ID with our domain name. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll create a hosted zone. Okay, so for that, let me connect to my. Okay, so I'm stop sharing. I'm just just for a while. I'm stopping my screen share because I want to sign into. Okay, so now I'm connected to my account. This is the website prenorm.com. They provide the domain name, so you guys can also check the website. So here you guys can see now I'm connected in my domain. So I've got two domains. Okay, so I'll use this domain. So what I'll do, I'll go into manage section. So because we have to create a hosted zone in Route 53. So to create a hosted zone in Route 53, I'll need a domain name. So that's why I've connected to this site, and I'll copy my domain name from here. Then what I'll do is I'll paste it here. Then if you guys want to give any comment, or any comment is basically the description or any description. So if you guys want to give any comment and all, so you can give it. Then okay, so make sure then that whenever you give the domain name, do not write www dot in your domain name, because that is not the domain name, right? So make sure that you write the domain, only the domain name. What is the domain name and what is the .ga, .tk or .com, anything. Then we'll create a hosted zone. So you guys can see, as soon as I've created the hosted zone, they have gave me the name servers for my this domain name, cloudexpert.ga. Okay, so these are the name servers. NS means name server. So what I'll do is I'll copy this name server to my this name servers, like here, to the name servers of my this website, because then only my Route 53 will be connected to this domain name from this website. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll copy the name servers and then I'll paste it one by one. So I have copied all my name servers. Then what I'll do, I'll change the name server. Just I'll select the, I'll click on change name server, and you can verify whether your name servers are changed or not. So you can go on to name servers and you can verify with your name servers in the Route 53 section. So 1092. So okay. So my name servers are now updated. So my name servers are now updated. Okay, so now because we have created a hosted one, and we have created some record set, and we have created the name servers of our like AWS has automatically created it for the domain name and all, but till now we have not created any record set or any like connection between the IP address that we have in our instance, uh, this instance, and between our domain name. So what we will do, we will create a record set. So what is the record set? www. So basically record set means www dot. Whenever I call for this domain name, www dot. So we have got multiple types. Like if you want to create record set for CNAME, if you want to create record set for mail exchanges, IPv6, TXT, pointer, SVR, SPF, NAPTR, CANS, name server, and SOA, start of authority. So I want to create a record set for IPv4 because this IP address is IPv4. So what I'll do is I'll copy this, and then because I'm creating a record set for IPv4, so I have to paste the IP address of IPv4 here in the value section. And then I can select the scaling policy. Like we have got multiple scaling policies like simple, weighted, latency, failover, zero location. So these routing policies are based on the requirement. Like if you are creating if we create failover, so in that case this routing policy works during the disaster management and all. Like if I have hosted a website in Mumbai, okay, so and certain or some disaster happens there, so in that case this failover routing policy will automatically uh, like divert my route to the secondary region. Okay, so I'm creating a simple. The record set could not be saved because the value is okay. So what I've done is I have not okay. So we have to enter a proper IP address. Uh, I have copied it from the website now. That's why. So we have entered a IP address here, and then we can create it. So now we have created a record set for our this domain name with this IP address. So what we will do, we will try to enter this domain name. So let me see for the domain name, cloudexperts.ga. So as soon as I have entered my domain name, you guys can see I am accessible. I can access this website. So this way you can allocate or associate your domain name with your website. Okay, so now I am looking for the chats. Okay, so Tank asks that Route 53 does say definitely Tank because now we are in the free tier, so you'll not get charged for Route 53 now. But then in the cases when you are not in free tier, so in that cases you'll get a little bit charges for using Route 53, very little charges. I have wrote www. You can see I have written only www dot. AWS has automatically taken the dot. Okay, Manoj, got it? Yeah, Tank. You can create your own name servers. Okay, let me show you. So what you need to do is you need to create a record set, and then in this type section you can see we have got name servers. So you can create name servers. How you can create name servers? NS1 name server 1 dot whatever you want to type. You can create name servers. So basically, like the numbering that you can see here is the order or the numbers of my name servers which AWS has provided me. So you can create your own name servers. Okay, but like if you are working, okay, okay, Manoj said okay, no issue. So thanks, you can create your name servers as well in this way. Like you can create a record set, and here you can select name servers. You can select any of these services like CA, certification authority, authorization, NAPTR, name authority pointers, sender profile. You can select any of these services. Okay. So have you guys understood how you guys can deploy your website on EC2 servers, EC2 web server, and how you guys can map your domain name with your EC2 server? Okay. So have you guys understood this? Is there any doubt in any of these things, like how you can map your domain name with all these kinds of things and all? Manoj is asking, we are hosting it from free tier. Okay. Can you tell some features of paid version? Okay. Also, can we host normal hosting? So basically, Manoj, this is the normal hosting only, like which I have shown you guys. So, like, what is the difference between normal hosting and advanced hosting? Can you explain? Hosting is hosting. There is nothing like normal hosting or advanced hosting. Something. Hosting is hosting. Every hosting is similar. So you can host anything in free tier and you can host anything in the paid version. The like when you apply for paid versions, basically a big company or a big industry applies for a paid version. Um, like okay, Manoj said like Manoj, understand this. If you are working in an organization, they'll not give you the free tier account, right? So they have to buy the paid versions because they want all the services, right? So in the paid versions, they get some certain amount of usage limit and all. So that is paid version. Like understand, if you are using a VMware, so you get free version. Basically, what is free version? Demo version. So this is free version. So basically, this is not demo version. They are giving us, they are allowing us to use all the services. Okay, this is not the demo version. But the thing is, when you apply for paid version, they give you the limitations to use particular service. As after your limitation gets over, you have to reapply for the paid version. Okay, Tank asked something. I think this is not concerned with hosting, it's concerned with EC2 usage. Yeah, Tank, definitely. That's what I am telling him. Like he asked that. Yeah, definitely. On the first day only, I have told you guys, na, you'll get charged only for the hardware that you are using. Understand? Like in Route 53, we are using the service. So that's why they'll charge us for the service that we have used. If you'll just create it and you will not use the service, then they'll not charge you. On the very first day, I have told you guys each and everything that when you will get the charge, when you will not get the charge. So definitely when you use a particular service or with particular hardware, like in the case of EC2, when you create a machine, when you launch a machine, so you are using their hardware. So that's why they'll charge you. Okay, when you are using the S3 bucket, so you are using their hardware, your storage devices, their storage devices. That in that case they'll charge you. So this is the main scenario how they charge you. They'll not charge you for the service that you have created. They'll charge you for the hardware that you are using, their hardware that you are using. Okay, so they'll charge you for the hardware only. Okay, Manoj. Manoj, 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 are you there? Manoj, understand in this way. If you are okay, I got your point, Manoj. See, you can create multiple free tiers accounts and you can use the free tier services for your web hosting. But this is the case uh, when you are working on your own, right? Like you have created a website for your own understanding, for your own learning, or like you have some your business or small businesses. So these things do not work in the industry environment, right? Because in industry environment, what they want is they want the dedicated host, dedicated servers, dedicated dedicated hardware. So they have to pay for it. Understand that if you are working all alone, so in that case, you can do this kind of things, right? But if you are working for an organization, so you cannot do these kind of things there because they require a dedicated hardware, they require a dedicated server, they'll require dedicated storage, so they'll pay for it. Okay, so if you are working on your own, so then you can do these kind of things, like you can create multiple free tiers account. But if you are working for an organization. So they will give you the account. How can you create a new account, free tier account, and create their websites on that account? So these kind of scenarios do not work in the industry environment, right? Yeah, definitely, Tank. That's what I am telling. You can use 750 hours, and you can then after 750 hours, you can also again create new account, and you can use that. But in the industry environment, what happens is they require a dedicated hardware servers, and also for that they have to pay for it. Understand? That's what I am telling you. Okay. Any other doubts regarding web hosting and all? Okay, no issue, Manoj. No problem. Any other doubts? Any other doubts regarding web hosting on EC2, like Route 53 and all? Because we have only seen a bit of Route 53 today. Because I want to show you guys how you guys can map your domain name with IP address. This is not complete Route 53, okay? Mm. So if anyone have any doubt, then let me know. Yeah, definitely. Thanks. Not auto scaling. Every services needs a practice. Like EC2 also needs a practice. ELB also needs a practice. S3 also needs a practice. So you guys do the practice. I hope you guys have got the accounts from our team. Like as far as I have got the information, you guys have got the Manoj. Okay, I'll talk to them because I've given the account details. I'll talk to them. You'll get the account. No worries, no worries. Because I have given the account to them, account details. Okay, so he might be working on some other things on the account because I have created the like I have given him certain information about the accounts and all. So he might be working on accounts at his level. So you'll get the account. Okay. Or either he would have sent you the details. You just check the mail ID, okay? Because if he like he'll give you the account detail on email. So just check the mail ID. Check in this like okay. Any other doubts in like all the services that we have studied till now? So we have done this much things till now. Like we have done IAM, we have done EC2 EBS, snapshots of EC2 EBS. We have done then we have instead of static web hosting, we have done dynamic web hosting on EC2 instance. Then we have done S3 storage, Glacier storage. Like Glacier is the storage type. So and uploading documents. And I've also shown you static web hosting on S3 bucket. Then we have seen uh, then we have seen ELB, auto scaling group, and CloudWatch. So are you guys clear till now? So then from tomorrow onwards, we'll see VPC. We will create VPC. So it might take 2 days or 3 days in VPC because VPC is a huge topic. So first we'll study what is VPC, then we'll create VPC subnets, routing table, then how we can associate internet gateway with the VPC, how we can make the communication between inter VPCs, like two different VPCs, VPC peering. So how we can give the internet connection to the private subnets in a sorry, the instances in the private subnet in VPC. So all these kinds of things. We have got multiple things, and then I'll show you a basic project on like a simple project on VPC also. So I think everyone is clear till now. So I think we should end today's session. This much only for today's session. Uh, and I'll also give you the task on any of these services by night or by morning. So make sure that you complete the task. Okay. And by tomorrow afternoon or by tomorrow evening, I'll also send a quiz on our group. So make sure that you complete that quiz by day after tomorrow. So are you guys clear till now? Okay, so thank you for attending today's session. We'll meet you guys tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m. Okay, I'll send you the link in the group. Okay. Okay, thank you.